Warning: the following video contains information about imminent economic changes that may significantly impact your financial future. Some readers may find this information disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
I've hesitated for months to film this video. The very act of sharing these details makes me deeply uncomfortable. But recent events have forced my hand. What I'm about to share may seem unpleasant or even offensive, given the economic hardships many Americans face today. But I've concluded that my silence would be far more unconscionable than any discomfort my words might cause. Hi, my name is Louis Navellier. I'll be direct. I'm not just wealthy. I'm in the 0.1%. Over 40 years on Wall Street have given me more money than most could spend in 10 lifetimes. You likely know who I am. I'm the founder of a firm that managed over $7 billion in financial assets. I own one of the longest winning streaks in Wall Street history. There are best-selling books about me. I've managed the wealth of Oscar-winning actors and Hall of Fame athletes. I've appeared on CNBC, Bloomberg, and Fox Business more times than I can count. Then there's my material wealth. The New York Times and USA Today have treated my possessions like celebrity gossip, tracking everything from my luxury car collections to my private jets, wine cellar, and even my family vacations in the Swiss Alps. The media has called me everything from Mr. Perfect to a flamboyant nerd to one of the most important money managers of our time. My estate on the Atlantic coast, down the street from Mar-A-Lago, sits among neighbors who shape global markets with a single phone call. Tech visionaries, hedge fund titans, industrial magnates. These are the people I have dinner with. When the president is in residence, the Secret Service becomes part of our daily landscape. I'm not sharing these details to boast. In fact, it pains me to speak so openly about my wealth. But you need to understand something critical. When someone like me, someone who has spent decades at the height of American wealth, is losing sleep over what's coming, you should be deeply concerned. Over decades of managing billions in assets and advising some of the world's most powerful financial institutions, I've witnessed market cycles that have created and destroyed fortunes. I've seen economic policies that have lifted millions into prosperity and others that have crushed the middle class. But what's approaching now is different. It's more systematic, more fundamental, and far more dangerous than anything I've encountered in my 40-plus years on Wall Street. The tragedy is this approaching crisis isn't a natural economic phenomena. It's an engineered wealth transfer of unprecedented scale. Those of us with means, with access to certain financial instruments and investment vehicles, will likely emerge even wealthier. But for the average American, the outlook is grim. I could remain silent, continue accumulating wealth, and watch from my oceanfront windows as millions of Americans are blindsided by what's coming. That would be the easy choice. But I've reached a point in my life where legacy matters more than additional zeros in my bank account. The wealth we build today means nothing if our children inherit a fractured economy tomorrow. That's why I'm breaking my silence. What I'm about to reveal here today will undoubtedly make me unpopular among my peers, many of whom are benefiting from this transition. But the American public deserves to know what's being orchestrated behind closed doors in Washington and on Wall Street. This isn't about politics. It's not about left versus right. No politician in the world can undo what has been set in motion. It's about an imminent economic reality that will fundamentally reshape American society unless enough people understand what's happening and take action. What lies ahead is far more severe than what we've already endured. What I'm going to share in this video is what my research shows is a very real and very orchestrated plan to fundamentally restructure the American economy concentrating wealth in the hands of those who control these systems, while eliminating millions of jobs and careers in the process. The consequences will be devastating. What you'll see today will change how you view money, wealth, and the very foundation of our economic system. I'll show you why powerful interests in Washington, Wall Street, and Silicon Valley have deliberately mischaracterized what's happening to our economy and the true cost of their silence for everyday Americans. Why the recent tariff announcements only reinforce what I've been seeing behind closed doors. These policy shifts aren't causing the transformation I'm about to describe. They're actually accelerating it. Why following traditional financial advice, saving diligently, investing in blue chip stocks, and focusing on retirement accounts may now be putting your financial future at risk. More importantly, I'll show you what you can do to protect your savings, position your investments ahead of this transformation, and potentially build extraordinary wealth, even as millions of others fall behind. I hope you will take the time to watch this video carefully and understand what's really driving the unprecedented changes in our economy. In it, I'll lay out exactly what is happening, including several key steps every American should take right now. It's free to view, and by doing so, I know you'll be ahead of everyone else struggling to understand what is really going on. But I urge you to take the critical steps I outline here very soon before the gap becomes too wide to cross, before it's too late. While politicians debate and media personalities argue about the state of our economy, something extraordinary has been unfolding in the financial markets. Most Americans never noticed it, but it's already created more wealth in mere months than most people accumulate in their entire lifetimes. This isn't happening in some obscure corner of the financial world. It's happening in plain sight. 18 months ago, APP was a modestly successful technology company with a market cap of approximately $6 billion. Their quarterly revenues were solid, growing about 16% year over year, and they employed around 1,700 people. But almost no one was talking about them. No glowing profiles in the Wall Street Journal. Then, over an 18-month period, something extraordinary happened. APP stock began to climb. Not gradually, but in sudden, powerful surges. $20 per share became $40, then $80, then $200. By mid-December, the stock had reached $400 per share. By February, it topped $500. In just 18 months, APP stock had surged 2,872%. It wasn't a penny stock or some speculative biotech venture gambling on FDA approval. This was an established business with substantial operations, real revenue, and experienced leadership. Shareholders made more money in 18 months than most Americans make in a lifetime of work. An investor who placed $50,000 in APP at the beginning of this period would have ended with over $1.43 million in just 18 months. A $200,000 investment would have transformed into $5.74 million. And here's what you need to understand. This isn't fiction or exaggeration. These market events are happening right now, not just once or even a few times, but repeatedly over and over again across the market. I've documented 27 such cases in the past year alone. A finance company saw its shares surge 4,480% in just 12 months. A mid-cap tech firm climbed nearly 1,549% in only 7 months. A semiconductor developer rose 1,019% in just 88 days. Wealth created overnight, wealth that would take the average American several lifetimes to accumulate, generated in as little as a financial quarter. What's the problem? You might be saying to yourself. Massive, rapid stock market gains are a bad sign? Record-breaking wealth creation is something to fear? Sure. Companies gaining tenfold or more in value so quickly sounds fantastic on the surface. It feels like the system is working. Capitalism at its finest. Yet I can tell you with absolute certainty, these unprecedented returns are not signs of health. This is not irrational exuberance or even a typical bubble. It's something far more fundamental and far more dangerous. The explosive market movements I've just described are symptoms of a profound transformation reshaping not just our economy, but our entire society. Look around you. Political polarization is intensifying. Social fabric is fraying. Trust in institutions is collapsing. Economic anxiety is mounting. Doge layoffs, sweeping tariffs. A tech billionaire now wields more political power than many elected officials. These aren't separate crises. They're interconnected manifestations of the same underlying force. Why are groceries skyrocketing when wages stay flat? It's not just inflation. It's the same force siphoning wealth out of the middle class and funneling it somewhere else. Why is housing out of reach for millions while speculators get richer overnight? It's driven by a hidden catalyst quietly reshaping how wealth is created and who gets it. Why do entire industries seem to vanish while a select few explode in value? It's not just creative destruction. It's a systematic shift in the engine of our economy. Most Americans sense that something fundamental is changing. They feel increasingly insecure, increasingly left behind, even as they work harder and do everything right. But rather than confront the real source of their distress, people grasp for simpler explanations. They blame outsiders, politicians, or each other. Anything but the underlying transformation reshaping their world. The truth I'm about to reveal explains why your neighbor suddenly bought a vacation home while another faces foreclosure. Why your college-educated child struggles to find meaningful work while a 22-year-old tech worker buys a luxury car with cash. What's truly remarkable, these explosive market moves aren't only likely to continue. My data says they'll increase in number and intensity. But the opportunity they present comes with a warning that most people will miss until it's too late. What you'll learn today won't just help protect your financial future. It will provide clarity amidst chaos. A perspective that explains the seemingly inexplicable changes happening all around us. And more importantly, how to position yourself to be on the right side of this historic divide. In short, what we're witnessing is a fundamental reordering of what creates value in our economy. For the first time in American history, the very source of our economic strength is being systematically changed, and we're never going back. Think about what made America the wealthiest nation in history. It wasn't our natural resources, though we have plenty. It wasn't our military might, though it's unmatched. It wasn't even our free market system, though it's the envy of the world. No, America's true wealth has always come from something far more valuable: human knowledge. The intellectual capital that has been the cornerstone of economic value and professional worth since the founding of our nation. For 250 years, through every technological revolution, through every economic transformation, this fundamental reality never changed. Steam engines could replace muscle. Computers could replace calculation. But human knowledge, that extraordinary combination of learning, experience, and insight, remained irreplaceable. This was the bedrock of American prosperity. Think about it. Every great fortune, every technological breakthrough, every economic expansion ultimately rested on human knowledge. The engineer's understanding, the scientist's analysis, the entrepreneur's insight, the financier's judgment, the lawyer's interpretation. This uniquely American resource has lifted millions from poverty to prosperity. It's been the one true path to financial security. Lose all your money and you can rebuild if you have this resource. Start with nothing and you can build an empire if you have this resource. I know this firsthand. But now, for the first time in human history, we face something entirely different. That bedrock is crumbling beneath our feet. What took a lifetime to build, expertise, judgment, specialized knowledge, can now be replicated in seconds. Human knowledge, once our most precious asset, is becoming our most rapidly depreciating one. What's causing the seismic economic shift? What invisible force is rewriting the rules of wealth creation virtually overnight? Last month, I sat in a company meeting where executives celebrated a colleague's company replacing 95% of its workers with a technology that costs less than a single employee's monthly salary. The ROI was impressive. The human cost was never mentioned. Not once in the 2-hour meeting did anyone mention the employees who would receive their termination notices, or the families who would lose their health insurance, the mortgages that would go unpaid, the college dreams that would be postponed. Multiply this scene by thousands of companies across America, and you begin to understand why we're seeing such deep financial, economic, and social fractures. That's right. This is the story of artificial intelligence, but not the sanitized version you're hearing from the media, Washington or Silicon Valley's PR machines. Behind the carefully crafted press releases and TED Talks lies a staggering truth most Americans simply can't comprehend. AI has now crossed a critical intelligence threshold, surpassing the intellect of over 95% of humans on Earth. A development big tech firms aren't too eager to share with the public. This isn't just another technological milestone. It's a fundamental, species-level turning point. AI systems are now routinely outperforming highly educated professionals in their own specialized fields. Systems so advanced they can replicate the work of entire departments. And unlike human intelligence, these capabilities are improving and being deployed at mind-boggling rates. I'm not speaking as some Wall Street outsider alarmed by new technology. I grew up in the shadow of Silicon Valley, before it was called Silicon Valley, when it was still orchards and modest research facilities. I was writing code in computer labs before most Americans even had seen a computer. Technology isn't just something I invest in. It's been woven into the fabric of my life since childhood. I watched the digital revolution unfold firsthand, often rubbing shoulders with the very people who would become tech legends. This intimate understanding of technology's evolution is precisely why I can see where AI is taking us with such clarity. What I witnessed behind closed doors would shock most people. This is the uncensored, unvarnished truth about what's already happening to our economy and what's coming next. I understand why so many are dismissing AI as just another technological fad. The headlines don't seem that alarming. Employment numbers look stable. The economy appears to be humming along. Everything seems normal on the surface. That's exactly what they want you to think. Here's what the media isn't telling you. AI is already devastating the American workforce, but in ways that traditional economic metrics completely miss. They tell you to look at the employment rate. See? They say AI isn't taking jobs. Unemployment is still low. But this surface-level statistic masks a brutal reality. When a company implements AI, they don't typically fire their entire workforce overnight. That would cause too much alarm, too much pushback. Instead, they do something far more sinister. They stop replacing workers who leave. They eliminate positions through restructuring. They hire new workers at lower wages because AI has reduced the skill requirements of the job. The employment numbers don't capture the silent erosion of economic power. They don't show you how AI is gradually hollowing out the middle class, position by position, department by department. But the evidence is there if you know where to look. The Job Quality Index, the metrics that tracks whether newly created roles are high quality versus low quality, has been collapsing, signaling how our economy has been replacing stable, high-wage jobs with lower-paying, less secure ones. Companies aren't just eliminating positions, they're systematically downgrading them. They're being hollowed out, stripped of meaning and status, and pay less. The incentive to change jobs has plummeted to its lowest level since 2020. Why? Because AI is rapidly equalizing and degrading jobs across companies. Economists call this reduced labor market dynamism, but what it really means is workers have lost their bargaining power. They're staying put because they see no better opportunities elsewhere. Companies no longer need to compete aggressively for talent when AI can turn average workers into productive ones. No one in Washington or Silicon Valley wants to show you this data because it represents the first visible cracks in our employment foundation. These powerful interests benefit too much from maintaining the illusion of a healthy job market. This isn't accidental. It's by design. The first step in the technological unemployment is not firing people. It's to stop hiring. I know this playbook intimately because I've executed it myself. Back in the 1980s, my computer programs didn't replace existing analysts. It eliminated the need to hire them in the first place. One program running on a room-sized computer quietly did the work of dozens of highly paid professionals. No layoffs, no severance, no headlines, just jobs that never materialized. I don't share this with pride. I share it because I understand the mechanics of this transformation better than most. I've been both an architect and a beneficiary. When I warn about what's coming, it's not theoretical. It's based on firsthand experience. What I did with primitive technology decades ago is now happening across every knowledge industry, but at a vastly greater speed and scale. Look at the workforce trends. Hiring growth is slowed by 27% in jobs exposed to AI. 47% of firms say they already adopted AI to lower labor costs. 76% of large companies planning automation intend to use AI to replace employees within the next year. That number's up from 55% year over year. AI's impact on employment is no longer theoretical. It's happening right now across various sectors. When technology allows corporations to extract maximum value while distributing minimum compensation, the result is exactly what you see: record profits for the few, diminishing the pay for the many. And it's about to get much, much worse. While companies quietly begin the job elimination process, a far more alarming trend is emerging. Our own government is now accelerating this transformation. Washington isn't just enabling this shift, It's creating the exact blueprint for the most aggressive workforce replacement program in American history. Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE initiative, represents the most aggressive government restructuring effort in modern history. The mandate is clear: slash bureaucratic bloat, eliminate redundancy, and implement AI solutions across federal departments. The results have been swift and dramatic. Over 62,000 federal positions have been eliminated, with forecasts as high as an additional 317,000 jobs gone by year's end, representing 10% of the entire federal workforce. But this isn't simply cost-cutting. It's a fundamental reimagining of government operations through artificial intelligence. Consider what's happening at the Department of Veterans Affairs. An AI system now processes disability claims in minutes, rather than the months it took human reviewers. It's processed over 400,000 claims automatically without needing human intervention, a 24-fold increase that has saved $1.5 million in labor costs. The Treasury Department has deployed AI-powered fraud detection systems that prevented and recovered over $4 billion, representing a more than 500% efficiency improvement over traditional methods. One AI system alone identified $2.5 billion in high-risk transactions that might have otherwise gone undetected, effectively doing the work previously requiring hundreds of specialized analysts. The General Service Administration has deployed AI-powered automation systems that have saved over 17,000 work hours in contract management alone. Their AI system can automatically process contract closures in seconds that previously required hours of manual work. A single program performing the work of dozens of acquisition specialists. Similar changes are taking place in the Social Security Administration, Medicare and Medicaid, the Department of Defense, and Homeland Security, and more. What government officials won't publicly acknowledge is the brutal truth. The vast majority of these eliminated positions will never return. They're being permanently replaced by AI systems that work 24/7, never call in sick, never require benefits or pensions, and improve their performance daily. This government transformation is merely the canary in the coal mine, a preview of what's coming to private industry. What they're doing in government is exactly what I predict every corporation in America will implement within 36 months. The efficiency gains are too compelling to ignore. Any CEO who doesn't follow this playbook will be replaced by someone who will. Boards and shareholders are already demanding similar transformations. The message is unmistakable. If even the notoriously change-resistant federal bureaucracy can be revolutionized by AI, no industry or position is safe. Trump's new tariffs will speed up this AI takeover even faster. Why? It's simple. Tariffs make imported goods more expensive for American companies. When companies face higher costs, they look for ways to save money elsewhere. AI offers the perfect solution. Replace expensive workers with technology that costs less and never ask for a raise. Instead of hiring more American workers, as the tariffs promise, companies will invest in AI systems that can do the work of dozens of employees. The companies that could quickly adopt AI could thrive despite the tariffs, while those that hesitate could struggle to compete. Within months of these tariffs taking effect, I predict we'll see a massive wave of AI investment across industries. What was meant to help American workers will actually accelerate their replacement. This isn't just technological change. It's the privatization of America's intellectual foundation. A new economic elite is positioned at the forefront of this AI revolution, either creating these technologies or being the first to implement them in ways that demolish their competition. They're establishing more wealth and control. Their stock prices are soaring because they're capturing the economic value that once flowed to millions of knowledge workers across the economy. A value that's now being concentrated in fewer and fewer hands at an accelerating pace. This explains the extreme rise in 2,000% stock gains I mentioned earlier. Just consider what's happening in the advertising industry. Omnicom, a traditional advertising giant founded in 1986, employs over 77,000 professionals across 100 countries. They've built their business on human creativity and strategic thinking. AppLovin, founded in 2012, uses AI to automate online advertising. With just 1,500 employees, 2% of Omnicom's workforce, they generated $4.7 billion in revenue last year. And unlike stocks of the internet boom, companies like AppLovin aren't being propped up by mere hype or wishful thinking. They're powered by real revenue, real profits, and real technological advantages. More importantly, their revenue is growing at 35% annually, while Omnicom's growth has stagnated around 4%. The difference? AppLovin has replaced thousands of human decision makers with AI systems that determine ad placement, creative optimization, and budget allocation in milliseconds rather than days. AppLovin shares have surged as much as 4,700% in just the past 24 months, while Omnicom's stock has flatlined during the same period. It took Omnicom 40 years to achieve this kind of growth. Now, AppLovin has become an $89 billion company, 6 times more valuable than Omnicom, with 98% fewer employees. This isn't just disruption, it's wholesale value transfer. Look at what's happening in the banking industry. Traditional institutions like Bank of America operate with massive workforces. With approximately 213,000 employees, B of A maintains thousands of physical branches and large call centers where human representatives handle everything from account inquiries to loan applications. Enter Dave, a financial technology upstart founded in 2016. Using AI, Dave has revolutionized personal banking services. Their Dave GPT AI assistant handles customer service inquiries that once required human representatives. Their AI-powered credit underwriting engine makes lending decisions more accurately than traditional models. With fewer than 300 employees, about 0.1% of Bank of America's workforce, Dave provides banking services to 11 million customers. While Bank of America requires an army of people to maintain customer relationships, Dave's AI systems deliver personalized financial guidance automatically, scaling to serve additional customers without increasing staff. Dave shares have surged as high as nearly 1,800% in recent months, while traditional banking giants have just seen modest growth. The law enforcement sector provides another striking example of this technological disruption. For decades, police officers spent up to 40% of their shifts on paperwork rather than patrol, supported by large administrative staffs. Companies like Conduit employ tens of thousands of workers specifically to handle law enforcement documentation. Enter Axon. Their Draft 1 AI technology automatically converts body camera footage into written police reports, accomplishing in seconds what once required hours of officer time and administrative support. With just a fraction of the workforce that traditional documentation services employ, Axon has revolutionized police operations nationwide. The market has recognized this efficiency. Axon stock has surged over 2,000% in recent years. Meanwhile, Conduit has lost more than 80% of its value. The retail sector tells the same compelling story. Abercrombie & Fitch, once a struggling mall staple, has undergone a remarkable AI-powered renaissance. They've deployed AI algorithms that analyze customer data to predict fashion trends, optimize inventory, and personalize marketing. Their systems now handle tasks that previously required thousands of employees. Abercrombie & Fitch is experiencing dramatically improved performance with 67% fewer employees. Their shares have skyrocketed as high as 1,000%, while traditional retailers struggle to maintain relevance. These AI-powered companies aren't just marginally more efficient, they're fundamentally rewriting the rules of business by achieving in months what once took years. This chart illustrates this exact phenomena with undeniable clarity. AI-powered companies are reaching major revenue milestones in roughly one-third the time as traditional companies. The pattern is clear. The math is undeniable. The future is visible to those willing to open their eyes. AI is rapidly transforming human knowledge, our most valuable national asset, from a scarce human resource into a commodity that can be owned, replicated, and deployed by a select few companies. These companies are seeing major growth. Meanwhile, millions of Americans continue contributing to their 401ks and IRAs, pinning their retirement hopes on annual returns of 7 to 10% if they're lucky. But while conventional retirement accounts might take 10 years to double your money, the companies at the forefront of AI disruption are delivering returns that would take traditional retirement accounts decades to match. Considering this sobering reality, a standard retirement portfolio would need 50 years to match AppLoving's 4,700% return. That's nearly an entire lifetime of patient saving versus just a couple of years of being positioned on the right side of this AI revolution. That's the thing. The America we knew, where specialized knowledge, hard work, and patient investment over time is disappearing before our eyes. The market is recognizing, before most Americans have caught on, that these companies have found the ultimate competitive advantage, replacing expensive human knowledge with scalable, tireless, increasingly capable AI systems. This explains why companies with tiny workforces can now generate more value than industrial giants with hundreds of thousands of employees. The data confirms what's happening. 10 years ago, AI-powered companies made up less than 10% of the S&P 500's total market value. Today, that figure stands at 32% and growing. AI leaders have achieved 150% higher revenue growth over their peers and 160% greater shareholder returns over the past 3 years. Behind these staggering numbers lies an uncomfortable truth that corporate America is desperately trying to hide. In the last 24 months, Meta laid off 21,000 workers, Amazon 27,000, Google 13,000, Microsoft 16,000. The companies building our technological future are systematically dismantling their human workforce. Yet most people react as if these are routine corporate restructurings, not the tremors before an earthquake. Behind closed doors, in boardrooms and executive suites, America's corporate leaders are implementing what is being called the Great Replacement, not of people based on identity, but of human knowledge workers with artificial intelligence systems. Listen carefully to the corporate language used in these layoff announcements. Restructuring to align with strategic goals. Accelerate decision-making and improve operational efficiency. Restructuring efforts to streamline the company. This isn't just empty corporate jargon. It's carefully crafted language designed to obscure a simple truth. They're replacing humans with AI. This is the big, dark secret the world's wealthiest people do not want you to know. Why this secrecy? Why not simply announce that AI is making these jobs obsolete? Because they understand the political and societal backlash would be immense. If Americans fully grasped the scale at which AI is replacing knowledge work, they would demand immediate regulatory intervention. They would write their congresspeople. They would protest outside corporate headquarters. They might even boycott products. So instead, companies hide behind vague language about realigning resources or streamlining operations while their stock prices soar. When artificial intelligence can perform nearly every knowledge-centric job in America, we face an economic transformation unlike anything in modern history. When people work harder, gain new skills, take on more debt for education, only to find themselves falling further behind, they're not failing. They're facing an impossible mathematical reality. Technology is increasing the efficiency of capital faster than humans can increase their value through traditional means. The hopelessness is rational. The anger is justified. The shocking truth no one wants you to see. Technology itself, not globalization, not politics, not education, is the hidden force driving America's crippling wealth inequality. While you struggle to keep up, the machines that promise to make life easier are actually making it harder for you to earn a living wage. How is this possible? Because technology, first computers, then the internet, and now AI, has steadily eroded workers' bargaining power. As more jobs get automated or made simpler by technology, more people end up fighting for fewer jobs. When lots of people want the same job, companies can pay less because someone will always take the job, even at lower pay. Again, this isn't the type of data that makes news headlines, but it's there for you to see if you know where to look. The average American worker hasn't received a meaningful pay raise since the turn of the century. The recent DOGE layoffs will make this worse by adding even more skilled workers to the job market. With more people looking for work, wages will go down in all types of jobs. You're not imagining it. Technology is changing the American dream into a game where the rich always come out on top. In fact, the recent tariffs on global imports will only intensify this situation. While these actions may be intended to protect American jobs, they're actually creating immense pressure for companies to accelerate AI adoption to offset rising costs. The very policies meant to strengthen our economy are paradoxically speeding up this transformation. The impact will be felt across every segment of society. If you're in the workforce, your job, no matter how secure it seems, could be transformed or eliminated virtually overnight. Business owners who don't adapt quickly enough will find themselves obsolete. Those approaching retirement or already retired face perhaps the greatest risk, watching their life savings evaporate as traditional investment strategies fail in this new environment. The pension funds and retirement accounts that millions rely on are built on assumptions that are about to be shattered. This isn't just another market cycle or economic downturn. It's a fundamental restructuring of how wealth is created, how work is valued, and who gets left behind. The window for preparation isn't just closing, it's slamming shut. And that's why I'm breaking my silence now. The speed of this disruption isn't just unprecedented, it's almost impossible for the human mind to grasp. We're not watching a gradual transformation. We're watching an extinction event in real time. What makes this situation particularly dangerous is our collective inability to see it clearly until it's too late. The blind spot isn't coincidental. It's hardwired into our psychology. To understand why, consider how we process the last major technological disruption that rewrote the rules of our economy. Think back to how fast the internet changed our world. In 1995, just 14% of Americans had ever used the internet. Most people never had sent an email. The idea of buying things online seemed crazy. Social media didn't exist. By 2005, just 10 years later, the internet had completely transformed how we shop, communicate, work, and live. Companies like Amazon, eBay, and Google went from tiny startups to household names. Within another 10 years, traditional businesses that didn't adapt, like Borders, Blockbuster Video, and countless others, were wiped out. The speed of this change was exponential. Each advancement built upon previous ones, creating faster and faster progress. This exponential growth caught most people and most businesses completely off guard. It gave us our first glimpse of a troubling economic paradox. As information and knowledge became more abundant, their value often plummets. Encyclopedia salesmen disappeared. Travel agents became increasingly rare. Stockbrokers saw their commissions collapse. Music distributors watched their industry transform overnight. Newspapers virtually disappeared. And that's precisely why these transformations are so difficult for most people to see until they've already happened. Our brains simply aren't wired to comprehend exponential change. We're pattern recognition machines built for a world where tomorrow looks mostly like today, where changes occur gradually and predictably. But exponential progress doesn't work that way. It starts slowly, almost imperceptibly, and then suddenly explodes with overwhelming force. The digital elite, our tech billionaires and Silicon Valley insiders, understand this exponential blind spot intimately. We aren't just beneficiaries of exponential progress. We weaponize your collective inability to understand it. When we speak of gradual integration or augmenting human capabilities, we're counting on your linear thinking to miss the big picture. The greatest competitive advantage isn't having more capital. It's recognizing the actual velocity of change while others stand frozen like deer in headlights. And here's what's truly terrifying. The artificial intelligence revolution we're witnessing today isn't just exponential like the internet was. It's double exponential. Let me explain what this means. The internet followed what technologists called Moore's Law, the observation that computing power doubles roughly every 2 years. It creates exponential growth that looks like this. But by its very nature, AI is different. Because AI can improve itself, each advancement doesn't just build on the previous ones, it multiplies them. An AI system masters a new field. The mastery immediately improves all other AI systems. These improved systems then master new fields even faster, which improves all AI systems even more, which accelerates the mastery of even more fields, which improves all systems yet again. See how that works? It's a cascade effect that accelerates with each iteration. AI's double exponential growth means disruption happens before adaptation is possible. Consider ChatGPT. Its predecessor, ChatGPT-3, took years to develop. ChatGPT-4 arrived in just 18 months later with dramatically enhanced capabilities. Suddenly, AI could pass the bar exam, score in the 99th percentile in standardized tests, and code complex applications from verbal descriptions. Now imagine ChatGPT 5, designed not just by human engineers, but by ChatGPT 4 itself, working 24/7 without human limitations. This isn't speculation about some far-off future. This is happening right now. AI is already smarter than 95% of the human population, and those capabilities are growing. AI is outsmarting our PhDs. They're acing tests in physics, biology, and chemistry. They're solving equations that were supposed to stump computers for years to come. It's like watching a child go from struggling with basic addition to outperforming the MIT math professors in a matter of months. What took humans decades of education and experience to master, these machines are conquering overnight. Just consider, scientists spent 10 years figuring out how superbugs gain resistance to antibiotics, a growing threat that claims millions of lives each year. AI just solved that same problem in 2 days. AI has accurately predicted structures for thousands of proteins within days or weeks, a task that often took experimental labs years to solve. Mastering this process is the key to understanding disease mechanisms. Mental health professionals are now seeing their specialized knowledge replicated by AI. In a Dartmouth study, an AI therapist reduced depression symptoms by 51%, anxiety by 31%, and eating disorders by 19%. Remarkably, patients reported building the same level of therapeutic alliance with the AI as with human therapists. A doctor with years of advanced degrees and clinical experience might see 30 patients a week during office hours, but an AI system can support thousands simultaneously, day or night, without fatigue. The employment implications are staggering. Why would insurance companies continue reimbursing $200 per session when AI can deliver comparable or superior results at a fraction of the cost? The implications are particularly significant because this isn't about AI handling simple, repetitive tasks. It's demonstrating superior performance in areas traditionally considered the domain of highly trained specialists. The kind of expertise that used to require a lifetime of study. The knowledge we pay doctors, scientists, and specialists huge salaries for is now being replicated by algorithms that improve faster than any human possibly could. Now that same expertise can be replicated, deployed, and scaled infinitely at near zero marginal cost. One AI system can simultaneously provide PhD-level analysis to thousands of companies at once, 24 hours a day, without fatigue or human error. Billionaire Microsoft founder Bill Gates recently said that humans won't be needed for most things within the next decade. He describes an emerging era of free intelligence that will make human expertise increasingly irrelevant. Even more disturbing, Gates admits this transformation is very profound and even a little bit scary because it's happening very quickly and there is no upper bound. The tech elite aren't just predicting this future, they're actively building it. We're witnessing the first technology in human history that can participate in its own evolution, deployed on a global digital infrastructure that enables instant worldwide adoption. The business consequences are staggering. Companies that adopt these systems gain unprecedented competitive advantages, while those relying on traditional human expertise find themselves unable to compete on cost, speed, or accuracy. Look at Innodata. Their AI systems process vast data sets and make strategic business recommendations that typically require armies of lawyers, PhDs, and other specialists, allowing them to deliver their high-level consulting services at lower costs. This efficiency has sent Innodata's shares surging over traditional consulting firms as investors recognize their ability to challenge established players by doing more with less. Cecil is challenging huge financial service providers like UBS and Charles Schwab by offering AI-powered financial guidance. Cecil's easy-to-use AI financial tools have sent its stock soaring as high as 3,000% as customers abandon traditional banks in droves. Root is upending industry giants like Progressive by leveraging AI-powered underwriting and claims processing with just a fraction of the employees. Shares have jumped as high as 3,500%. We built our entire society on one promise: education and expertise would always be valuable. That promise is now broken. All those years of study and mountains of student debt, AI just made that knowledge as cheap as digital music. Look at what happened at Morgan Stanley. They spent years and millions of dollars training their top financial advisors to handle wealthy clients. Then they gave their AI system access to 40 years of investment research. Within weeks, it was outperforming their most experienced analysts at answering complex client questions. What experts thought would take years to happen in just months. At Pfizer, they gave their AI system access to decades of drug research data. Within weeks, it identified potential drug combinations that their top scientists, with all their years of experience, had overlooked. Previous technological revolutions were like precise surgical strikes. They disrupted specific industries while leaving others unchanged. Netflix killed video rental stores, but law firms kept working as usual. Amazon devastated retail, but doctors continued practicing unchanged. Uber transformed taxi services, but architects kept designing as before. Each wave of disruption has clear boundaries, clear limits, clear survivors. AI is different. Double the exponential growth is not a surgical strike. It's a tsunami that's flooding every industry, every profession, every level of expertise simultaneously. Artificial intelligence isn't just matching human abilities, it's racing past them at breathtaking speed. This pattern is repeating everywhere. Marketing campaigns that took months to create now take minutes. Financial analysis that required teams of experts now happens instantly. Software that took years to develop can be written in days. AI is doing something no previous technology could do. It's devaluing our most precious natural resource, the human knowledge itself. Look at this chart carefully. What appears to be a simple graph about technological progress reveals something far more consequential. Since 1980, we've witnessed three major technological shifts: the internet, cloud computing, and now AI. Each wave didn't just change how businesses operate, it systematically removed human workers from the economic equation. The internet eliminated millions of distribution jobs. Think travel agents, retail clerks, and media professionals who once facilitated the movement of goods, services, and information. Cloud computing decimated IT departments around America, replacing server rooms full of technicians with centralized data centers run by skeleton crews. Now, AI is doing something even more profound, reducing what corporations call the marginal cost of generation. In plain English, this means replacing the human minds that create, analyze, and decide. The proof is right there on the image to the right. In 1986, the S&P 500 companies needed 8 workers to generate $1 million in revenue. Today, they just need 2. This isn't about making work more efficient. It's about removing humans from the equation entirely. The ultra-wealthy grab all the value while millions of Americans face a future with no place for them. And we're just at the beginning of this transformation. We are racing towards a seminal moment in American history I call the economic singularity, the point at which the vast majority of economic activity is controlled by an elite few who own and control the AI systems. It's the moment when traditional human work becomes economically irrelevant, replaced by machines owned by a small group of technology companies and their investors. If you don't understand this fundamental law, you are going to get left behind. This isn't just another wave of technological disruption. It's a controlled demolition of the traditional economy, orchestrated by those who understand exactly what's coming and stand to profit immensely from it. Those who own the tools that deliver this knowledge will prosper beyond imagination. Everyone else faces unprecedented uncertainty. Let me be clear. I'm not saying I agree with or endorse this direction. I'm simply reporting where the data is pointing. This transformation is coming whether we like it or not. You have two choices. Ignore these trends and get left behind, or take decisive action now to position yourself on the right side of this historic economic shift. This is why understanding how to position yourself, your career, your investments, your child's education has never been more critical. The rules that governed American prosperity for generations are being rewritten before our eyes. Mark my words, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Despite the stark reality I've outlined, the purpose of this video isn't to frighten you. I share it because real wealth, lasting wealth, comes from seeing change before others do and having the courage to act on it. When I first started using computers to analyze stocks in the 1970s, most people thought I was crazy. The market is an art, they told me. It can't be reduced to numbers and formulas. But I'm a technologist. I saw something they didn't. Technology wasn't just changing how we analyze stocks. It was changing the very nature of business and wealth creation. This has been the foundation of my life's work. Back in the 1970s, I began development of what I would call the grade, a fundamental measure of a company's ability to thrive in times of technological change. The grade is the foundation of the financial empire I built, an approach that has consistently outperformed the market by a margin that stunned even most cynical people I know. When the S&P 500 delivered average returns of 10%, my portfolios frequently returned 60% or more. In one particularly remarkable 15-year stretch, my recommendations turned every dollar invested into $41, a 4,000% return that outpaced even Warren Buffett during the same period. My track record became so consistent that several of the world's largest wealth funds approached me to exclusively manage portions of their portfolios. Financial journalists have called me everything from a cross between Albert Einstein and AI to the king of quants to Wall Street seer. I'm humbled when I hear how ubiquitous and helpful the grade has become. The truth is, I never set out to create an institutional standard. I simply wanted to understand which businesses were best positioned to harness technological change and which ones would be left behind. Today, it helps shape decisions behind hundreds of mutual funds and ETFs many Americans own in their retirement accounts. But the grade isn't just about picking winning stocks. It's about understanding how technology reshapes our economy and creates new opportunities for wealth. Let me show you what I mean. In 1987, the grade pointed me to a small company called Apple. But it wasn't just the company's financials that caught my attention. The grade showed me something deeper. Apple was doing what seemed impossible, making computers accessible to everyday Americans, creating an entirely new market in the process. Shares of Apple have soared as high as 589-fold since my initial recommendation. In the late 1980s, the grade flagged Adobe Systems, one was virtually unknown on Wall Street. While investors just saw another small software company, the grade detected something revolutionary. Adobe wasn't merely selling programs. It was fundamentally transforming how creative work happened. When I recommended Adobe at just $1.38 per share, many questioned the wisdom of investing in a company selling expensive software to a niche market of designers. But shares have gone up as much as 258-fold since that recommendation. In 1990, the grade identified Microsoft was trading for just 68 cents a share. But the real story wasn't about software. It was about productivity. Microsoft programs could do the work of entire accounting departments. One person running Excel could perform calculations that would have taken hundreds of people to do by hand. Shares have gone up as much as 543-fold since. The grade spotted Dell Computer when most investors thought personal computers were a passing fad. Dell wasn't just selling PCs. It was revolutionizing manufacturing and distribution, using technology to build computers on demand and deliver them directly to customers. Shares have soared as much as 440 times since. When the grade signaled Amazon in the early 2000s, many thought it was just an online bookstore. But the grade helped show me something different. Amazon was creating a new kind of retail experience, one that would eventually reshape how Americans buy everything. Shares of Amazon have multiplied as much as 75 times since. The grade identified Google in 2005, when most analysts still considered search engines a commoditized business with no clear winner. Its share price has gone up as much as 26-fold since that recommendation. In 2016, the grade detected how Navellier was positioning itself at the epicenter of multiple explosive trends: deep learning, autonomous vehicles, and cloud computing. This wasn't just about better graphics. It was about creating the computational foundation for artificial intelligence itself. Since that recommendation, Navellier shares have returned over 126-fold, becoming the poster child for AI's transformative economic potential. Each of these companies did more than make their shareholders wealthy. They fundamentally changed how business works in America. And yes, the grade helped identify the stocks I've outlined in this letter before they went on their incredible runs: AppLovin, Axon, Dave, Abercrombie & Finch, Sezzle, Innodata, Root Insurance. And now, the grade helped me see something I've never seen before. It's detecting a transformation that makes all previous technological revolutions look like warm-up acts. The opportunities ahead are literally unprecedented, but so are the risks. This is why I feel compelled to share what the grade is showing me now. Because just like in the past, the biggest winners won't be the obvious choices. There'll be companies that are harnessing AI in ways most investors don't yet understand. I spent 4 decades helping people navigate technological change. My firm has survived and thrived through multiple market cycles, countless economic shifts, and wave after wave of technological disruption. There's no doubt in my mind the next few years will be the greatest period ever to attain wealth in American history. But it will also be one of the most turbulent. What we're about to witness will mirror the 1990s, but on an entirely different scale. The 1990s was the greatest decade ever to be a technology investor. I know because I was there, recommending Microsoft at 68 cents, Dell under $1, and EMC before it soared nearly 40,000%. It was during those years that I hit the fast forward button on my own wealth. But what's coming now is very different. The technological leaps, market opportunities, and potential investment returns could be exponentially greater. The companies positioned at the forefront of AI won't just have the potential to deliver impressive returns, they could create generational wealth. But this opportunity won't be available to everyone. It will only reward those who see these changes clearly and have the courage to act decisively. Those with their heads in the sand cling to old investment strategies, outdated career paths, or conventional business models will be left behind at a pace and scale we've never witnessed before. I understand their skepticism because I've heard these same objections throughout my entire career. Every time a new technology was about to upend the status quo. It's just hype, they say. Another Silicon Valley fad. I've heard the exact same dismissals in the early days of the internet. Corporate leaders insisted websites were a novelty. Marketing executives claimed email would never replace business letters. Retail giants said people would never trust online shopping. They were all wrong. Catastrophically wrong. AI makes too many mistakes, others argue. It can't replace human judgment. This objection particularly troubles me because it shows a fundamental misunderstanding of how technological progress works. When I first started using computers for stock analysis in the 1970s, they made mistakes too. But here's what most people miss. While humans improve linearly, technology improves exponentially. The AI you see making errors today, in 6 months, it will be dramatically better. In a year, it will be unrecognizable. I've watched this pattern repeat for 4 decades. What seems flawed and limited today becomes devastating capable tomorrow. But AI can't be creative, they insist. It can't think originally. I recently sat in a boardroom where an AI system created an entire advertising campaign, concept, copy, visuals, everything, in minutes. The creative director, a man with 20 years of experience, sat there in disbelief. It's better than anything my team could do, he admitted. We've heard these warnings before, they say. Technology always creates new jobs to replace the ones it eliminates. This is where they're most tragically wrong. Yes, previous technological revolutions created new jobs, but they did so over generations, giving society time to adapt. The steam engine, electricity, computers, these changes played out over decades. AI is different. It's not just replacing human labor, it's replacing human thinking and creativity. And it's doing it at a speed that gives us no time to adapt. Just consider Getty Images, a stock photo giant with 495 million images, to AI-generated pictures costing pennies. Getty stock crashed 85% in just 7 months. An entire industry erased in under 1 year. LegalZoom, legal document pioneer with millions of customers, blindsided by AI assistants, drafting contracts in seconds for free. The stock crashed 44% over the past 12 months. An industry that once disrupted traditional law firms now finds itself being disrupted by AI. Duolingo, a language earning app that laid off 10% of its contracted translators, hastily pivoted to embrace AI after initially claiming workers wouldn't be replaced. Chegg, online education pioneer, rendered obsolete by AI delivering truly personalized learning. The stock collapsed 98% since the debut of ChatGPT. Upwork, leading freelance marketplace, suddenly irrelevant. AI started handling writing, design, and coding tasks, lost nearly 80% of its value as clients abandoned human freelancers. These aren't isolated incidents. They're early warnings. The question isn't whether your industry, your job, or your investments will be effective. It's whether you'll learn from these mistakes or repeat them. I made my fortune by seeing technological disruption coming before others did. I've profited immensely from being early to recognize these shifts. And now I'm telling you, nothing in my 40-year career compares to what's coming. This could be the biggest financial opportunity of your lifetime, a genuine task to take the fast track to financial freedom and potentially watch the value of your savings grow 10-fold, 50-fold, even 100-fold over the coming decade. The grade is showing me which companies can be positioned to capture this explosive growth and which ones will be left behind. More importantly, it's helping me find specific actions you need to take now to ensure you're on the right side of this historic wealth transfer. Remember, this isn't a time for fear. It's a time for informed, decisive action. So what exactly should you do? How can you position yourself to benefit from this unprecedented wave of change rather than be crushed by it? I've identified 3 critical steps you must take to ensure you're on the right side of this technological revolution. Let me walk you through each one. The single most powerful wealth creation force in the digital age isn't technology itself. It's the speed at which it grows. Economists call this the network effect. The network effect occurs when each new user of a service or product increases the value of that service or product for everyone else. Consider the telephone in the early days. When only a handful of people owned telephones, the invention itself had limited utility. You could only call the few other people who owned one. But as more and more people purchased telephones, each new telephone owner made the entire network more valuable for everyone. When thousands of people had phones, suddenly you could connect with business associates, family members, and friends, all without leaving your home. What followed was a virtuous, self-reinforcing cycle. This self-reinforcing, positive feedback loop is the secret behind virtually every major technology success story of our lifetime. Think about it. The faster a given technology reaches critical mass, the more ubiquitous it becomes, the more advantageous for the companies driving that technology. In the early 2000s, for example, the search engine landscape was crowded with familiar names like Yahoo, AOL, AltaVista, Lycos, MSN, and Ask Jeeves. Each had a significant market share and financial backing. But the grade detected something different about one particular search engine, Google. While other search engines focus on advertising revenue, Google was relentlessly focused on search quality and user experience. The grade analysis showed that despite having fewer users initially, Google had something that others lacked: the telltale markers of network effect growth. Every time someone used Google and found exactly what they were looking for, they became more likely to return. With each new search, Google's algorithms became slightly more effective. As more websites optimized for Google's indexing methods, its results improved further. The more people use Google, the more websites wanted to be properly indexed by Google. The better Google's results became, the more people used it. The grade identified this virtuous cycle early. This positive feedback loop wasn't just creating linear growth, it was exponential. While other search engines were gaining users at predicted rates, Google's adoption curve was starting to bend sharply upwards. This virtuous cycle transformed Google into a trillion-dollar juggernaut and created extraordinary wealth for investors who recognized the network effect in action. I became known as the advisor who recommended Google before anyone else. Investors who followed my recommendation saw peak gains of 2,600%, turning every $10,000 investment into more than $260,000. The same pattern repeated with Netflix. When the grade helped me first recommend Netflix, most people still thought of it as a DVD by mail company. But I saw how each new subscriber made the recommendation algorithm more accurate, which attracted more subscribers, which further improved the algorithm, creating an unstoppable feedback loop that eventually demolished Blockbuster and revolutionized entertainment. My clients who invested in Netflix, based on my analysis, had the chance to see over 3,150%, watching their initial investments multiply many times over. The same pattern emerged with Facebook. In its early days, when most investors were dismissing Facebook as just another MySpace, the grade detected the early signs of network effect momentum. It showed that Facebook's user retention metrics were unprecedented. Once people joined and connected with friends, they rarely left. Each new user made the platform more valuable for everyone in their social circle, creating a powerful incentive for others to join. The network effect drove Facebook from a dorm room project to a platform with over 2 billion users and a market cap that peaked above $1 trillion, proving once again that identifying network effects early is one of the most reliable paths to extraordinary investment returns. Those who followed my recommendation on Facebook saw their gains grow by as much as 1,148%, creating unprecedented wealth for many. These are some of my best gains. There will be some losers. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Amazon represents perhaps the most powerful example of network effects in business history. When the grade recommended Amazon, critics still dismissed it as just a bookstore that would eventually be crushed by established retailers. But the grade identified Amazon's unique approach to the network effect. Their marketplace model created a virtuous cycle where more sellers attracted more buyers, which attracted more sellers. Each new participant made the platform more valuable for everyone. As Amazon expanded its logistics network, this advantage compounded. Better delivery meant happier customers, driving more purchases and allowing further logistics improvements. Investors who followed my Amazon recommendation enjoyed returns well over 1,000%, watching a seemingly simple online retailer transform into one of the most valuable companies on earth, disrupting dozens of industries in the process. You can see the golden thread here. If you can identify the network effect in the critical early stages, you can become incredibly wealthy. Of course, everyone knows about the wealth and power amassed by shareholders of tech giants like Facebook and Google. By now, their stories are legendary, and the media obsessively focuses on those giants. Since the giants get all the press and attention, few people know about the smaller, innovative companies using the power of AI to leverage the network effect. The next big winners are on the launching pad. The grade has identified several smaller companies harnessing the network effect in AI-specific niches, companies poised to follow the same explosive growth trajectories we've seen before. For example, one company has created a platform that does for artificial intelligence what Microsoft Office did for business productivity in the 1990s. Just as Microsoft made spreadsheets and word processing accessible to everyone without needing to be a computer programmer, this company makes powerful AI accessible to any business without requiring AI experts. Their point-and-click interface allows regular people to deploy sophisticated AI capabilities that would otherwise require specialized knowledge. Companies can now incorporate AI's most valuable capabilities, from customer service chatbots to document analysis, while keeping full control of their sensitive data. This off-the-radar company is creating a revolution in business AI adoption, just like Microsoft Office did for business productivity, making powerful technology simple enough for everyone to use. Another company the grade recently identified has created an AI-powered platform that's quietly dismantling the credit card industry with its zero-interest payment platform, allowing customers to shop at over 47,000 brands without falling into debt traps. Major retailers are abandoning traditional financing as this disruptor builds credit for users without the burden of predatory interest rates, creating a virtuous growth cycle that is already sending its stock soaring and has Wall Street and traditional finance companies scrambling to catch up. The companies that harness the network effect create a nearly insurmountable competitive advantage and unprecedented shareholder value in the process. That's why I've created a new report called the Singularity 7, the new exponential wealth machines of the AI revolution, identifying 7 companies at the epicenter of AI's network effect revolution. These aren't the obvious tech giants everyone already knows. These are specialized innovators that have positioned themselves at critical AI intersection points where data, algorithms, and user growth combine to create exponential value. Each company in the Singularity 7 has developed a proprietary AI system that gets demonstrably smarter with each new user or data point, creating the same virtuous cycle that transforms tiny startups into trillion-dollar behemoths. What makes these companies truly exceptional isn't their technology, it's their business models. Each has created a structure where growth naturally accelerates over time. The more customers they serve, the more valuable their offering becomes, attracting even more customers. This is precisely the pattern identified with Google, Netflix, and Amazon before their historic runs. Now these 7 companies are showing the same early indicators of unstoppable momentum. While the average investor remains fixated on yesterday's market leaders, the Singularity 7 are quietly building AI-powered network effects that could generate returns of 1,000% or more in the coming years. Odds are, most Americans have never heard of these companies, but they all have 3 things in common. They are revolutionizing the way we use AI. They're harnessing the network effect. And best of all, there's plenty of room for growth. If I'm right, they're poised to make their shareholders incredibly rich in the coming years. That's why I want to put this report in your hands today. But before I show you how to claim your copy, there's another step you'll need to take to ensure you're on the right side of the coming changes. If you believe AI's power ends at language processing systems or algorithms, brace yourself. Because while everyone fixates on AI's digital impact, the next and far more disruptive frontier is unfolding right now. AI is entering the physical world, and it's happening much faster than most people realize. These systems have already crossed a critical threshold. Robots today just don't follow rigid programming. They observe, learn, and adapt. A decade ago, engineers struggled to create machines that could reliably pick up unfamiliar objects. Today, AI-powered robots can identify, manipulate, and organize thousands of different items with near-human dexterity, and they're improving daily. What's different now is that physical AI development isn't following a linear path or even a simple exponential one. It's accelerating at double exponential rates. AI systems are designing better robots, which collect more data, which train better AI systems, which then design even better robots. In simpler terms, robots are learning to build themselves faster than any traditional industrial cycle. AI-assisted robotics development has compressed traditional innovation cycles, creating a technological acceleration unlike anything we've seen before, 10 times faster and 300 times the scale of the Industrial Revolution. The pace of progress has shocked even veteran robotic experts. 2015, experts said it was basically impossible to teach a robot to fold laundry. In 2018, teaching a robot to fold laundry took months of specialized programming. By 2024, AI-equipped robots could learn this task by simply watching humans do it a few dozen times. The same ruthless efficiency that's howling out knowledge work is now transforming physical labor. Think waiting tables is safe? A California-based company has deployed servi robots in hundreds of restaurants across America. These autonomous servers navigate crowded dining rooms, deliver food, and bus tables without bumping into customers or staff. Believe construction work requires too much skill and dexterity for robots? A Boston startup's autonomous drywall finishing robot is already operating on major construction sites. Their system combines AI vision with precise robotics to sand and finish drywall with greater consistency than human workers. Think baristas and retail workers are irreplaceable? Silicon Valley's humanoid robots can now understand verbal instructions, learn tasks through demonstration, and adapt to changing environments without reprogramming. These robots have already mastered everything from coffee preparation to inventory management. Believe skilled masonry will always require human hands? A New York engineering firm has created SAM, semi-automated mason, a robotic system that lays bricks 3 times faster than human workers with perfect consistency. Specialized AI in each company and industry will make it so all those physical labor companies and industries will be able to serve their customers better with less employees. They will still need people, just way less. It's like farms in 1900. Still need people there, but way less. The tractor can do the work of 100 people. A specialized AI-trained robot can do the work of dozens of people. Manufacturing plants will need fewer assembly line workers when robots can assemble products with microscopic precision. Grocery stores will need fewer cashiers when self-checkout and automated inventory systems handle transactions and restocking. Delivery services will need fewer drivers when autonomous vehicles can navigate city streets without fatigue. Construction sites will need fewer laborers, run robotic excavators, bulldozers, and cranes operate continuously without breaks. Look, I get it. When I saw a bricklaying robot in action, it hit close to home. My father was a bricklayer who toiled 60 hours a week, proud of his craft and the skill he honed over decades. The thought of a machine replacing his art stirred deep emotions. But I learned early on that investment decisions rooted in sentiment or emotion can lead to missed opportunities. In a capitalistic economy, companies always choose efficiency. They favor workers or machines that are skilled, low cost, and always show up and never require benefits. This isn't science fiction. It's the economies of the next decade. Those who remain convinced that it can't happen here risk financial extinction. Those who recognize the shift, however, can ride the wave of innovation and carve out a piece of tomorrow's economy for themselves. Already, we've watched Amazon deploy 750,000 robots in its fulfillment centers and become a $1 trillion titan. And those robots are relatively simple compared to the self-learning systems emerging today. Elon Musk has candidly stated that Tesla's humanoid robot program could become more valuable than the entire automotive business. Jeff Bezos has just spent billions expanding Amazon's robotics division. Even Mark Zuckerberg's Meta, once focused solely on the virtual world, is now pouring billions into physical AI-powered humanoid robots. When the company that built the metaverse pivots to creating machines that work in the real world, you know this revolution is inevitable. The world's richest investors know that AI won't be confined to the screen, but integrated into the machines that work alongside us. And yes, even replace us. This is the next frontier of wealth creation, where digital intelligence meets the physical world. With great disruption comes extraordinary opportunity. The companies pioneering advanced robotics stand to capture wealth on a scale we haven't seen since the rise of personal computers or the internet. This is how it happens. A long series of tiny, gradual changes alter our world, yet we barely notice them until we wake up one day and realize a massive change has taken place. This is why step 2 in positioning yourself for the AI revolution is to gain exposure to the companies building the physical infrastructure of our automated future. While everyone else chases yesterday's AI winners, The great is identifying tomorrow's robotics champions, the companies that will translate digital intelligence into physical productivity. If you want to make massive wealth in the coming months and years, I urge you not to miss out on this trend. The coming robotics revolution will transform every industry in America. One company the great has identified is a little-known tech pioneer positioning itself as the Intel of this new era, not by building the robots themselves, but by creating the critical sensing technology that lets machines see and navigate our world. This company has already achieved what competitors thought impossible: the world's first solid-state LiDAR system for mass production. While this might sound like technological jargon, it represents a watershed moment for robotics. Think of this technology as giving robots superhuman vision, allowing them to create precise 3D maps of their surroundings in real time, day or night, rain or shine. This vision system is how robots will navigate crowded spaces effortlessly and without bumping into things, and how delivery robots will navigate busy sidewalks flawlessly. The company's remarkable growth trajectory speaks volumes. They've shipped over 500,000 LiDAR units globally and secured strategic partnerships. Their technology powers everything from factory robots to autonomous cars to smart city infrastructure. While competitors struggle with reliability issues or prohibitive costs, this company has cracked the code on mass production of high-performance sensors at accessible price points. As robotics becomes ubiquitous in our daily lives over the next decade, this unsung technology provider could deliver Intel-like returns to those who recognize the opportunity early. You don't have to stand idly by while automation sweeps the country. If you grasp where this technology is headed and how quickly it is moving, you can position your money in the path of progress instead of under its wheels. I want to tell you about them in my special report called The Physical AI Revolution: 5 Robotic Innovators Set to Dominate. What makes these opportunities so compelling isn't just their growth potential, but their resilience. Unlike pure software plays that can be easily replicated, robotics companies build competitive moats through their proprietary hardware, specialized data, and complex integration expertise. I promise you, this is one of the most important trends in the world today. And if you miss out, you risk missing out on nearly all the biggest gains. And the longer you wait to get in on it, the further you're going to fall behind. If you want to make sure you're on the right side of the singularity, you must learn about this unstoppable force. You'll get the full details on every fast-growing firm and the specifics on what price to pay and how much to allocate to each investment. I want to send you this report, as well as my report, The Singularity 7. Remember, we are here. There's still plenty of opportunity ahead of us. I want to ensure that you have access to all the best knowledge and research about the singularity in the months to come. Which brings me to the third critical step I recommend you take today. I hope you see there's probably no bigger, more important force in the world today than economic singularity. We are headed towards a world where enormous economic value is created with less people. You've seen the true nature of the AI revolution, how it's fundamentally different from previous technological changes, how it's creating unprecedented wealth concentration, and how it's reshaping the American economy in real time. Unfortunately, there's nothing you or I can do to stop this trend, even if we wanted to. All we can do is to make sure we're on the right side of it. I know what it's like to be on both sides of this divide. My story illustrates the incredible power of understanding this force and the wealth it can help you create. That's why I've dedicated my entire career to understanding and capitalizing on technological change. But today, my goals are much different than when I was younger. As I mentioned earlier, I've reached a point in my life where legacy matters more than additional zeros in my bank account. The wealth we build today means nothing if our children inherit a broken economy tomorrow. The more people who understand what is going on, the better off we'll all be. I want to educate Americans on what is really happening and how to help ensure you'll come out on the right side. That's why I spent a lot of time and money bringing this message to you today. We are at an inflection point before the gap between the rich and everyone else becomes too wide to cross. I believe it's critical for you and your loved ones to learn about the incredible force that has created this large and expanding economic divide we're experiencing today. Throughout my 40-plus year career, I've discovered that the greatest financial advantage isn't capital or connections. It's recognizing the actual velocity of change while others stand frozen like deer in headlights. This ability to see transformative trends before they become obvious has been the cornerstone of my success, allowing me to survive and thrive through multiple market cycles that devastated those who couldn't adapt quickly enough. Now, I want to share the same advantage with you. If you're in a job that offers little in terms of pay, understanding the concepts I've been describing today could help set you free. If you want to ensure you have enough money for retirement, these concepts could allow you to do that. If you want to fund your kids' or grandkids' education, yes, these concepts could enable you to do that as well. I want to ensure you have access to all the best knowledge and research about the AI revolution in the months to come. Wealth flows to those who anticipate change, not those who react to it. The reports I want to send your way are the critical first step. I want to make sure you are able to stay up to date on all the new developments taking place and have the chance to be the first to act on them as they happen. There are new technologies changing our world as they unfold. And believe me, there will be plenty. It's critical that you stay connected to know everything about all the changes taking place. I want you to become a master of the singularity. I want you to know what's going on and to help your family, friends, and neighbors understand what's going on too. Which is why I want you to receive my monthly advisory letter, where I keep readers up to date on everything that's going on, called Growth Investor. Every month in Growth Investor, I'll show you the new developments and technological breakthroughs taking place. I'll show you how to be prepared, stay ahead, and capitalize on all the tremendous growth that's happening right now. I'll show you some new and incredible ways you can make money now as this economic transformation accelerates. Again, this force is extremely powerful, and it will only grow over the coming decade. I cannot stress the importance of staying ahead of the coming changes. This is too important for you to miss. It's too valuable for you to sit on the sidelines. Even if all you do is read about what is happening, it's worth it. I've earned a reputation by helping my readers find incredible opportunities to profit from investigating and understanding the big technological trends that reshape our world. Like Betty S., who told me she turned a modest $3,000 investment into more than $400,000. I just wanted to share this story as I think of you all the time. I subscribed to your research for many years and bought Apple when you first gave the buy signal. I wish I could remember how long ago that was. I bought 100 shares at $30 per share for an investment of $3,000. Over the years, you sold and rebought Apple, but I never touched it. With the two splits, I now have approximately 3,235 shares worth approximately $414,000. I've always wanted to thank you. Thank you. Take care, and I'm forever grateful. David C. told me now he has a portfolio worth over $1 million. I've used my first gains from your advice years ago to start a specialty automotive shop in Reno. Fast forward 30 years, and I've gone from being a nearly broke skilled tradesman and former auto shop owner to having a little money to invest and try to grow towards retirement. Your services have made the lives of our small family so much less stressful and hopeful for a brighter future. I would have not been in such an enviable position had it not been for the ability to see so much in gains over the last 2 years. Thanks for so many opportunities and insight to help us average people. This note from Ken G., who told me he made over $100,000 on 2 stocks alone. I always wonder where investing newsletters get their testimonials and whether they are real. But with Navellier, they must be, because I've made well over $100,000 in the last year on just 2 of Louis' recommendations, Navellier and IIN. Your issues are the only ones I read religiously. The last thing I do when I leave for work on Friday is to print out your updates and current issues and take them home to read. Thank you for helping independent investors like me navigate the markets. I'm confident my research can work for you too. But before I show you how to get started with everything mentioned here, there's one more thing I'd like to include. The Great has identified a disturbing pattern emerging across financial markets. As AI rapidly rewrites the rules of business, traditional investment strategies are becoming dangerously outdated. Think about it. Most retirement accounts, 401ks, and pension funds are still built around assumptions from a pre-AI world. They're heavily weighted towards legacy companies and industries about to face unprecedented disruption. This is why we're seeing such extreme volatility. Companies that fail to adapt to AI aren't just facing competitive pressure, they're facing extinction. Meanwhile, businesses successfully implementing AI are capturing market share at rates never before seen in economic history. The implications for your portfolio are profound. The investment principles that reliably built wealth for previous generations, diversification across blue-chip stocks, bond ladders, steady dividend payers, may actually increase your risk in this new environment. Consider what happened to once respected companies that missed technological shifts. Eastman Kodak dominated photography for a century, then filed for bankruptcy after failing to adapt to digital technology. Blockbuster rejected a partnership with Netflix in 2000, then collapsed as streaming changed entertainment forever. BlackBerry controlled 50% of the smartphone market in 2009 before being decimated by touchscreen innovation. Each of these companies was considered a safe investment at one time. Each was in millions of Americans' retirement portfolios, and each saw their value virtually erased when they failed to adapt. The AI revolution is already creating similar casualties, but at a scale and speed we've never witnessed before. Remember the stories of Getty Images, LegalZoom, Upwork, and Chegg. What makes these stories particularly chilling is the speed of disruption. These weren't gradual declines over years. They were existential threats that emerged in months. And unlike previous technological revolutions that affected one industry at a time, AI is simultaneously disrupting dozens of sectors at once. I urge you to heed these warnings. The Great is now flashing warning signals across entire sectors of the economy. Traditional banking faces extinction as AI-powered fintech startups deliver better services with lower operational costs. Insurance giants watch helplessly as AI-driven competitors price risk more accurately with 1/10 of the workforce. Law firms struggle to justify high fees when AI can draft contracts and perform research in seconds rather than billable hours. The economic singularity I've described isn't something that might happen someday. It's already underway. This is why the Great is signaling an urgent portfolio rebalancing opportunity. By strategically reallocating your investments now, you can not only protect yourself from the coming disruption, but potentially capture extraordinary returns in the process. The key is understanding which companies are positioned to thrive in this new environment and which ones are vulnerable, regardless of their current size, profitability, or market position. In my new report, Navigating the AI Revolution, the Complete Portfolio Protection Plan, I reveal exactly how to position your investments for what's coming, including the 7 sectors most vulnerable to AI disruption in the next 18 months, including several that most analysts consider safe. 5 specific stocks to eliminate from your portfolio immediately, regardless of their current performance. 5 companies the grade has identified as the best positioned to capture massive market share during this transition, and a simple asset allocation formula designed specifically for the AI era, one that can potentially double your returns while reducing your risk. What makes this opportunity so extraordinary is that we're still early enough in this transition you can act before the masses recognize what's happening. By the time your neighbors understand the full impact of AI on our economy, the biggest gains will have already been captured by those who move first. I've spent over 4 decades helping investors navigate technological change. In that time, I've never seen an opportunity or a threat as significant as what we're facing now. This is why I'm making this information available today, not just to protect my legacy, but to help as many Americans as possible navigate what's coming. Now it's time to take action. For a limited time, I'm making all 3 of my exclusive reports available in a special package. Report number 1, the Singularity 7, the new exponential wealth machines of the AI revolution. Report number 2, the physical AI revolution, 5 robotics innovators set to dominate. And report number 3, Navigating the AI Revolution, the Complete Portfolio Protection Plan. Together, these reports provide everything you need not just to survive, but to potentially thrive during this extraordinary economic transformation. These insights alone could potentially transform your financial future and position you for exponential returns while others face devastating losses. In fact, I considered making this the complete package. The 3 reports and strategies would already put you miles ahead of other investors. But as I reflected on this historic nature of this economic transformation, I realized I couldn't, in good conscience, hold back on what might be the most valuable tool I've ever created. To show my absolute commitment to this mission, I'm including something that demonstrates just how serious I am about helping you succeed. Today, I'm granting you direct access to my proprietary stock grading system. This isn't just another bonus. It's the analytical engine that has powered my most valuable recommendations for over 4 decades. Until now, this powerful tool has been my most closely guarded secret, the exact same proprietary algorithm that investment professionals have paid tens of thousands of dollars to utilize. The grade doesn't rely on conventional metrics or mainstream analysis. It systematically evaluates companies based on the hidden factors that truly drive exponential growth, including their potential to harness network effects within emerging technologies like AI. With the grade at your fingertips, you'll be able to evaluate any stock using the exact same methodology that spotted Amazon, Google, and Netflix long before they became household names. You'll know precisely which companies earn an A rating, potentially tenfold performers, which receive a B rating, which are solid outperformers, and most importantly, which ones deserve a D or F that could devastate your portfolio, if not eliminated quickly. These aren't cherry-picked examples. This is 40-plus years of documented performance across thousands of stocks in every market condition imaginable. I could easily sell access to the grade as a separate subscription for thousands of dollars annually. I've done it before. I've charged institutional investors up to $30,000 per year. Instead, I'm including complete access as part of this package because I generally want you to have every possible advantage during this critical economic transition. I've spent millions developing and refining this system. I protected it fiercely for decades. And now, as part of this special offer, I'm including complete access at no additional cost. Why am I doing this? Because I firmly believe we're entering the most critical wealth-building period of our lifetimes. The AI revolution is creating a once-in-a-generation opportunity for everyday Americans to position themselves on the right side of history's greatest technological transformation. But to capitalize on this opportunity, you need more than just general information. You need specific, actionable intelligence, precisely what the grade provides. With the grade at your fingertips, you'll be able to instantly evaluate any stock's true growth potential, identify hidden AI winners before they explode in value, avoid seemingly attractive companies that are actually ticking time bombs, monitor your portfolio for early warning signs of trouble, discover companies at the forefront of the AI and robotics revolution, and most importantly, you'll have the same analytical engine that's guided my own investment decisions for over 4 decades, the same system that transformed me from a middle-class kid into someone who's managed billions in assets. When you accept my special offer today, complete access is included at no additional cost. This is your opportunity to harness the same analytical firepower that's helped me identify some of the most profitable investments of the past 40 years, just when you needed it most. But before I show you how to get started, there's one more thing that I like to include as part of this offer, as a final gesture. There's one more critical opportunity I need to share with you. It could end up being the most lucrative of all. While we've discussed the companies reshaping our world through AI, the truth is the most explosive growth often happens before these companies ever reach the public markets. Think about it. By the time most Americans could invest in Facebook, its value had already increased 2,000% from its earliest private funding rounds. When Uber finally went public, early investors had already seen returns exceeding 5,000%. The truly game-changing returns happen in private markets, traditionally reserved exclusively for venture capitalists, institutional investors, and the ultra-wealthy. Until now, I've uncovered a little-known investment vehicle that gives ordinary Americans legitimate access to the most promising private AI companies in the world, companies developing breakthrough technologies that will define the next generation. In my exclusive report, The Inner Circle, Investing in AI Unicorns Before They Go Public, I reveal a truly unique opportunity to own stakes in companies like OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT, and dozens of other private AI innovators before they ever hit public markets. It's a simple investment anyone can make through a standard brokerage account, yet few investors know it exists. While everyone else waits for these companies to eventually go public, when most of the explosive growth has already occurred, you'll have the opportunity to position yourself alongside the venture capitalists and billionaire investors who typically monopolize these early-stage opportunities. I'm including this crucial report as part of your package today because I firmly believe this could be the single most important wealth creation strategy of the entire AI revolution. The companies reshaping our world through artificial intelligence won't wait for your permission or announcement. They're already transforming the economic landscape. The only question is whether you'll be positioned to benefit from the historic shift or be left wondering what happened. Don't wait until it's too late. Position yourself today for what could be the greatest wealth creation opportunity of our lifetime. You can get access to everything mentioned here for just $49. Just click the button below to see your special offer. Some people have asked why I'm charging for this information at all. If my mission is to truly help everyday Americans navigate this AI revolution, shouldn't I just be giving it away? That's a fair question, but here's the reality. I've invested decades and millions of dollars developing these insights. My research team works around the clock analyzing data, vetting companies, and refining our models. To make this sustainable while keeping the price accessible to everyone, not just the wealthy elite, I've structured it this way. If what I'm predicting comes to pass, the cost of this information will be the best investment you've ever made, potentially saving you thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. If I'm wrong, and I sincerely hope I am, you've lost nothing on the subscription costs because of my 100% money-back guarantee. I'm not asking you to invest your life savings into some scheme. I'm offering information that costs less than a nice dinner for two that could protect everything you've worked for. When you look at it that way, the real question isn't why I'm charging for this research. The real question is, can you afford not to have this information? This isn't just another newsletter subscription. It's your financial survival kit for the greatest wealth transfer in human history. And if I can't deliver on that promise, I don't deserve to keep your money. Keep in mind, the testimonials you've read aren't from Wall Street elites. They're from ordinary people who use my research to protect what they've worked their entire lives to build. The time to take action is now. The window for preparation is rapidly closing. The companies at the forefront of this revolution are already seeing their values explode. The vulnerable industries are already feeling the pressure, and the pace of change is only accelerating. Just remember that all investments carry risk. You should never risk more than what you are willing to lose. To get started and to receive access to everything I've detailed here in a matter of minutes, simply click on the Subscribe Now button on your screen. This will take you to a secure order form where you can review everything before you submit in your order. I know your time is valuable. Thank you for spending it with me today. I hope you take advantage of this opportunity. I truly believe it's going to change the financial lives of millions of forward-thinking Americans over the next few years. I hope you're one of them. Thank you for watching today. I'm Louis Navellier.